Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Wood Chip Woodworking. Today we're going to do something that I've been wanting to get done for a while, and that's going to do a casting of some potato chip wrappers. I'm going to make a chip bowl, as they would say. So I got all these pieces of chip bags in here. We're going to cast them in resin. That's going to be our fun project today. So let's do a little housekeeping, as they would say. Welcome to Wood Chip Woodworking. Please share, subscribe, and like. Leave some comments below in the comment section or send me an email. And if you happen to see me at a craft show, stop by and introduce yourself and tell me what you thought of some of my videos, and we'll go from there. This video here will end up being probably a two-part series because I'll show you how I'm mixing this up to pour the casting. And once it goes into pressure pot, it would be like watching paint dry, or resin dry in this case. It's going to take probably anywhere from 3 to 7 days for it to cure out in the pressure pot. So it's got to set for almost a week. So it'll be next weekend before I get a chance to even pull it out of the pressure pot and show you what it looks like coming out. That being said, this probably will be somewhat of a short video. So let's get started on this, and we'll get started. Again, feel free to share, subscribe, like. My name is Paul Courtwright, and today we're going to do some casting of some potato chip wrappers. So hang tight and let's get started. All right, so here we are. Like I said, we've got a bucket full of potato chip wrappers here. This is going to be kind of an interesting one. I learned from my doing of a candy wrappers that we don't pour them in a bucket and pour the resin over top because it just doesn't coat the wrappers. So this is what we're going to do different this time. I got me a bucket here. This is going to be a pretty good sized bucket. I'm going to fill it up probably half, 3/4 full of resin, and then I'm going to stick all my wrappers in there and poke them down and do all that good stuff. So let's get started. We're going to use aluminolite today. This is a deep pour resin. This is part B. This here, the directions say mix 2-to-1 by volume. So I got my measuring cup here. It's a quart. So I'm going to have to do this a couple different times to get what I need. But I'm going to probably use this volume right here. So I'll do up here to 4. I'll do 4 of these, and then we'll come back and do the one part. So let's get her started on it. All right, let me get my gloves on and we'll get going. All right, so I got my gloves here. I recommend wearing gloves. And actually, I'm going to put some newspaper down on the bench here so I don't get this all over the place, because I'll end up spilling some. You watch. So I'm going to throw some newspaper down before we get started. And that way we kind of protect the bench a little bit, even though it's a workbench. It is a workbench. So, all right, so we got our newspaper down. And let's get started on this. Figure out where I'm going to be so you see what's best here. All right, so here's my cup. This is a 2-to-1 ratio. So if I do 2 parts, or if I do up to 4 here, or one of these, then I got to do half of what this is. So it's 24 ounces. So I'll do 12 of the other one. And the mixing time on this, working time is 60 to 90 minutes, which shouldn't be that bad. So I'm going to put probably a good part of this in here. And it might take the whole thing, is actually what I'm thinking. But let's measure it out just to be positive. So here we go. No turning back now. Here we go. This might be kind of like watching paint dry. I don't know. So we'll do up to 24. All righty. That's one. And I'll just dump that in my bucket here. Oh yeah, I think it's going to take quite a bit. Just so we get a right amount, we're going to kind of scrape out each time. All right, there's one. Don't want that falling down in there. That's one. And we'll put another 24 in. And then that would be 12 on the part B. If I do 4 of these, then that would be 24 on the part B, which I'm thinking it's going to use the whole thing. Is what I'm thinking it's going to have to be. This resin can get quite expensive. So when I turn this, I'm going to end up, I probably should get a block of wood of some sort to put in the middle of it to absorb some of this so I don't use as much resin. There's 2, yeah. That's 3 of these. Go make a big chip bowl. And I'm thinking this might be too big of a bowl to put in there. Might have to try something different. Thinking seriously of it. That's 4. Guess what? We're going to use the whole thing. So I'm going to clean this cup out and I'm just going to dump the other right into it. Let's mix 5. And if you're doing this, you don't want to use your wife's good spatulas. She might get mad at you. So let's see how much I got left on this one. Yeah, I think we're going to use the whole thing. So I'm thinking, yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to clean this up here and dump the rest of this in here in a minute. I'll put the lid on it and let it drain over onto the sides. All right, we're going to let that set like that for a minute. Now I'm going to dump this in here. See what I'm doing. I'm not going to use any kind of color on this because I want the chips bags to show through. So, trying to get everything I can out of this. This is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. All right. That being said, we're going to dump the whole thing of this in there. This is like a half a gallon to a gallon, so we're just going to go ahead and dump her all in. Try not to splatter it. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to tip it on its side and let it set for a minute. And get a paper towel, wipe my hands before I grab my drill. I think it's going to turn out pretty cool. I don't know. Find out. I'm just going to go fairly slow. Blend it. All right, I'm gonna see how much more I get out of this. There's some chunks of some sort in there. I don't know what they are, but I'm assuming they won't dissolve. And maybe they will. No. I think this might be setting around a little bit. Yeah, quite a bit of chunks in there. All right. Get them dissolved in there. This resin here can get pretty pricey too. So if you're going to do something like this, be prepared because this stuff does get pricey. I'll set that over there out of the way for a minute. Wipe my hands off before I grip my drill. We're going to mix that up a little bit and then we'll do the part B. All right. Let's scrape our bucket out one more time, make sure nothing else in there. Get that out of the way. All right. Set that off to the side and dump the rest of what's in here in. Hardener. Little thing I learned was if you got something you're pouring out, put it on an angle, it has a tendency to run better. And then you can tip it up and it'll run clean out. So that's about all I'm going to get out of that. All right, wipe my hands off one more time. And let's mix that up a little bit more. On here it says mixing time I've seen about 15 minutes to mix it, I think is what I've seen. So we're going to mix it up good. All right, I think we got her mixed up good. Let that drip for a second. All right, I'm gonna put this off here. Now the other thing I want to do is, okay, I'll show you something here. If you look real close on that, hopefully you can see it. It looks like cracked popple and burp, if you want to call it that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a board to put in the middle of it, push down on it so I can spread it out and kind of absorb some of it. So hang tight and I'll be right back. All right, so what I did was I just created this contraption here, sets down inside there, and I'll put it in the center. And when I'm done, I'll tape this in place and might actually put one in here so that keeps it from rotating. So let me cut this and put that on there and I'll be right back. All right, that'll keep it from rotating. So now we need to get our drills out of the way. And we'll start putting our chips bags in, and then we'll go from there. So here we go. So I just got all kinds of varieties of chips. See here, I'm just going to drop them in, take a stick and shove it down in, and just kind of randomly push them down in. And just kind of, that way they all get covered. Trying to put the side down so that it goes in. And they're not going to be exact, but that's all right. And just kind of shove them down in there. And I took these chips, and as I was eating them, the kids were eating them, my wife was eating them. I just took and washed off the chips, and a couple of guys at work was making fun of me because I was doing it, but that's all right. That's all right. They've never seen this done before. Probably nobody has. So this will be kind of interesting to do. And just randomly just kind of sticking them in there and just shoving them down. I did the candy wrapper bowl one time, and I just put all my wrappers in the bowl and then poured the resin over top, and what I found was that the wrappers didn't get resin on them all the way around, so I ended up with some that had resin on it and had voids in it and all kinds of other good stuff. So, and like I said, this is one that I'll have at a craft show this year. So if you're out and about and running around, you know, feel free to stop and see me and see what you think. Tell me your thoughts on this. I don't know if you can see this, but I might get you over here where you can see me push these in, just give you a bird's eye view of it. So, I got quite a few more to put in here. And I'm just shoving them down, randomly just picking them out of my bucket and putting them in here. Let's see how this works. Trying to put the label side down like that, so that when I push it in, that the wording and stuff will show through. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but that's what we're doing. And some of them are floating around down there. Like I said, this has got to set in the resin for a long time, because this is what they call a deep pour. So it'll set in there. Never know, Frito-Lay might be interested in buying a contraption like this, you know. So I might be on to something. Trying to open that one up just a little bit because it folded over on me. There. I put this block in the middle just to kind of absorb some of the space. This is kind of interesting. Getting down to the last few here. Trying to make sure I get them kind of even all the way around, and you know. We'll stir them up a little bit. This will make sure they get resin all over them as well. A couple more and we'll be done. That's the last of them right there. All right, let's get these down in the thing, stir it up a little bit. It's like making soup. All right. That being said, we're going to put our stick back in. All right, now we need to put some tape on the top of this to hold that down. And try to keep the resin in the thing as much as I can. All right, let's get some tape on it, and then we'll put it in the pressure pot. So, I think it looks pretty good. A couple pieces sticking up. That's all right. Got quite a few in there, so. Suppose I could probably spend all day pushing them down and that won't stay, so it is what it is. All right, let's put some tape on that, and then we'll go from there. Get rid of my gloves. You can't do anything with duct tape if you got gloves on. All right, so I'm going to put this like this. I don't want to glue my handle down because I got to pick it up. There. I think this would be a fun project to do. All right, so now let's put this in our pressure pot and let's go from there. So hang tight. All right, here we go. In the pressure pot we go. Nice and steady. Put our lid on it and we'll put some air on it. Make sure I got her on there good. We're going to tighten her down. We just don't want her to leak. You gotta be careful. I don't want to spill in inside the pressure pot. There we are. All right. Got our air hose. It's set for 60 pounds. That's our max. And we'll watch our gauge. Just making sure there's no leaks. Everything looks good. And I got it at set. The maximum pressure on this is 60. So I got it set for about 58, 59. So we're going to leave it there for about a week on the pressure. And we'll see what happens when it comes out. Well, thank you for joining me. Please feel free to share, subscribe, and like. And let's get this channel to grow. And if you're interested in this, come back and see me in about a week, and I'll take it out of the pot, and you'll see what it looks like. Meanwhile, Miss Nutmeg wants to say hi, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.